something special for Mother's Day, and here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me more. When did you? At what point after our last interview did you decide to do this?
You, Juan, really, truly, you were so great moderating this. I was so nervous about doing this, and so many friends of mine were yelling at me. Troy Taylor, my first producer of my first album and second album, and somebody had written songs with, we wrote Gotta Go Solo with Patti LaBelle and Ron Isley. That was a #1 hit. We
Yes.
wrote many hit songs together for Just Came Here to Chill Together. He's like, Gordon, this is the new you got to get into the new world. What are you doing? What are you waiting for?
Yes.
So many friends, artists were going live, and I just hadn't, had the feel of it, how to do it, how I wanted to approach it, and everything I do is very from the heart.
For a special Mother's Day concert, my name is Juan Zapata, and I'm a marketing assistant with the LaGuardia Performing Arts Center, part of the LaGuardia Community College in Queens, New York. And so on Friday, we went live. We did a special Q&A, up close and personal concert with Gordon Chambers, and people were loving it. People loved it, and I'm just so glad that we get to come back today on this special day for Mother's Day. People that love you and support you a little bit more. A lot of artists are finally connecting and cutting the middle person and connecting with their fans directly. And so this is great. And so today, Gordon curated a special list for Mother's Day, a special set of songs for Mother's Day. And so, Gordon, you tell me when you're ready to take it away, because we are ready.
New York City, I always post on my Instagram, we have hope here in New York City. It's not all doom and gloom. So I'm going to open up with a couple of songs that you might know that I've written. And yeah, I'm not going to do everything I've written.
And as you prepare yourself, I'm just going to give a little introduction for those people who are just tuning in. So you can prepare yourself in your
Shout out to my mother, Valerie Chambers. My father, Byron Chambers. My parents are still alive and well and have supported every dream I've ever had. My brother and I. My brother's a painter. This is one of his. This concert to my mom. And my father, for supporting our dreams. And if it wasn't for their dreams, none of these songs that I'm about to do, I would not have started to write
songs.
Some
of these women are, again, Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, Beyonce, Brandy, Gladys Knight, Chaka Khan, Patti LaBelle. These are just incredible singers who have touched our hearts with their music and their craft, and it's incredible that you got to Gordon, do you mind flipping your camera so that we see it? Right now it's tilted. Perfect.
Everybody?
Yes.
Everybody there? Cool.
Yeah.
It's here for your mom. The sweet memories will be all that we have left. Oh, now that you're gone, every day I go on. Life is not the same. So empty inside, my tears I can't hide. Oh, I'm gonna try to face the pain. Oh, I'm missing you. I'll find my way to with you. Living without you. You were my sister, my strength and my pride. Only my God made it know why. Still I will get by. What's up, Darius? I don't wanna rain on this parade. Wherever you are, sing along, y'all. But I'm starting to question the love that was made. I'm not looking for just anything. I deserve a love that is based on the truth, not just guess. No, you will not hurt my pride. And when you decide that you are not ready to settle down. But if you want my heart, then it's time that you start.
for tuning in for a special concert with Gordon Chambers after a great 2-hour concert on Friday, because we went for a strong 2 hours. You know, we had to disconnect due to Instagram's 1 hour limit, but then we connected again and everyone followed along for some more tunes, Q&As. So if you guys have any questions for Gordon, feel free to type them in the comment box. And we are doing this today for the mothers. Today is a very special day, Mother's Day, and Gordon approached the LaGuardia Performing Arts Center earlier this morning, and he said, listen, I have a vision, and I think we need to do this. And I followed along because I felt it strong as well. And so we are here giving you a special Mother's Day concert with Gordon Chambers. And so, Gordon, I also went live on my personal Instagram account on a different device. So I just want to let them know to go to LPAC on the Map to catch Gordon Chambers, Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, producer, and vocal coach, some of the greatest voices that we know and love. So if you're watching me on my personal account, go over to Gordon Chambers on Instagram or LPAC on the Map, which is in my bio. Gordon.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that song.
Which one?
The one you just sang.
Oh, If You Love Me?
Oh, If You Love Me.
Oh, my niece just joined. My niece is a beautiful mother, 25-year-old mother, and it's 25 years. She was born in 25 years. Hi, Kai Chambers. 25 years ago, this year that she was born, If You Love Me hit the charts. It hit number 1 on the R&B charts. It hit in the top 10, in the top 10. And it just completely changed and blessed my life. It's the first song that I heard on the radio. It's the biggest hit song I've ever had. It's been re-recorded in Korean, in Japanese groups have recorded it. It's been sung on idol shows all around the world. It's been recorded in Spanish. It's been used in films. Living Out Loud, Holly Hunter had this big dance segment to it. 2 weeks ago, Tracy Ellis Ross, who I went to Brown University with, she just decided to dance to it in quarantine. And 1 million people just watched her dancing to it in her living room. So Nolan just posed a good question. He said, is R&B dead? R&B is not dead. There are amazing talents of R&B artists out there. And both mainstream, I love her very much. I saw her and Erykah Badu, and she ripped it. There's just so many dope R&B artists, and there's so many dope independent artists. I've on my albums, my 4 solo albums, I've collaborated with some of the finest independent artists who are all friends of mine. Layla Hathaway, 5-time Grammy winner who I've known since college, sang a duet with me on my album called Back to Love. Lettucey, 9-time Grammy nominee, did a duet with me called To Love Again on my Love Stories, my 2nd CD. Eric Roberson, 2-time Grammy nominee, has written sang a duet with me on the newest album, and then other new up-and-coming New York City-based artists like Steph Reed, who's written and produced for me, sang with me, and Ayanna George, amazing friend, a good friend of Nate. My friend Nate is on, he's also a friend of Ayanna's, sang a duet with me. So Carol Riddick, who was featured last week on the Hot Pepper radio show, she's out of Philadelphia, one of the most mesmerizing voices you've ever heard. Tours with Will Downing, has toured with the great Jill Scott, who we just heard turn the radio out last night with Badu. And then people as a solo artist, I've toured independently with the best of the independent solo artists, and I've had a chance to hire the best musicians all around the country to put bands together. Shout out to all my musical directors. Dawn McLean, who I see has sung background for me many times. It's been a joy and a pleasure presenting, coming from the mainstream R&B scene, where at a time I'll be honest, Nolan, there was a time in my life I thought R&B was dead. It was like in the 2000s when I called it like the Diddy and the Beyonceization of R&B, when R&B became very, very pop. And you could still feel the soul in it, but a lot of the lyrics was, about dance. It was about party music and dance music, and I knew that the kind of gift that I have, the anointing I have, is songs that are, of all tempos, but they're songs that have of healing lyric and content. So jumping into the independent artist world, it was not easy. I was scared. I didn't have funding of a record company. I didn't really know that much about marketing, but people who are on today, like Nolan Baines and Cola Lewis, booked me for venues and all around the country and events, and I built up a fan base slowly but surely. Reggie Van Lee, whose birthday was Friday night, I remember bought literally hundreds of copies of my first CD, Elin Harris, the author who passed away. He was another one who also bought hundreds of copies of Introducing Gordon Chambers, just to let the world know that after Whitney Houston's inspiration in 2002, when I was producing her two albums, I worked on her Just Whitney album and One Wish album. She had that prophetic conversation. She said, "I think you want to do what I do, baby. If that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do." And she said, just like that.
Followers tuned in, they can't hear the sound.
Oh, okay.
So tell us, in that clip, you're sharing the
Sorry about that, guys.
You were in the recording studio, and Whitney Houston turned around and said what to you?
Well, we were recording a Christmas song called One Wish, and we had a time limit to get it done. Joey Arbiger, the A&R person who was working on her album for L.A. Reid, because I was signed to L.A. Reid's publishing company at the time. My first publishing company was Paisley Park, where Prince signed me himself. A woman named Kat Jackson was the day-to-day person, but Prince signed every check given up for Prince. I wore purple today in honor of Prince for my first publishing deal. And then my second publishing deal was with the amazing role model of mine, L.A. Reid. Babyface is going to be on tonight talking about Waiting to Exhale, cut by cut tonight. So while I was signed to Hitco Publishing, L.A. Reid was also doing the Whitney One Wish album. And then Joey Arbiger, who was the A&R. Can you guys hear me okay right now? Everybody? Yep. Okay, great. Asked me to work on Whitney's album. I've been trying to work with Whitney Houston since I was a kid. I mean, I'm from Teaneck, New Jersey. Whitney's from Newark. My mom and I I would drag my mother in my teenage years, literally, "Mommy, come on. We got to go to the church, that Sissy is musical director of, like, Mommy, come on. Like, I'm going to meet Whitney one day. I'm going to work one day. Maybe Whitney will show up. Whitney at that time was a huge star. She wasn't going to church anymore. But I was like, well, maybe I'll meet Sissy. And eventually I did have a dinner at my home with Sissy. But working with Whitney was a dream come true. And after all the other legends that I'd worked with, Brownstone, Anita Baker, Carl Thomas, Deborah Cox, Tamia, Faith Evans, Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, Shaka Khan, all the singers. Whitney Houston was the one. She was the icon, and she's a Jersey girl. I'm from Jersey. She grew up, 20 minutes from where I was from. So it always felt real. It felt connected. It felt warm. And when I went to the studio, I said to her, Whitney, because I've been submitting songs there for years. I walked in, I said, I have been waiting for all of this moment all of my. She said, no, Gordon Chambers. She always called me Gordon Chambers. She said, no, Gordon Chambers. I have been waiting for this moment all of my life. And that was the first album that we worked on together, Just Whitney. And then when I was invited back to work on the One Wish album was when I was directing her to hit this high note in the bridge of One Wish, the Christmas song. And we were on limited time. Joey's like, you have to get this done. Like, if you don't get this done by tonight, then it's not going to make the album. So it's like, really cracking the pressure. And it was in that moment, I said, Whitney, I need you to, no, there was this high note and I needed her to hold the note. So she walked out of the booth. She said, because Whitney was a very in-your-face person. She said, I think you want to do what I do, baby. And if that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. And she said it quick like that. And she said it, I said, what? And she said it twice. And I had just turned 33. And 33 is a very spiritual age, for those who follow the Bible. Jesus Christ died at 33. I had just turned 33, and I went to church, and my pastor in Fort Greene, Emmanuel Baptist Church, had just preached about, a short life that Jesus had. And then, having just had that amazing prophetic experience with Whitney and having just turned 33, I was like, listen, you never know how short or long life is. And if there's something that you want to do, go for it. And that's when I just decided, Whitney was prophetic like that. And her conversation with me just invoked power and spirit into me, and it influenced me in many ways in different chapters of my life, because after being on the road as an independent artist, it's my 15th year as an independent artist, my 25th year as a hit maker, charting songwriter, and 15 years in the business as an independent artist. So this is a banner year for me on many levels, and I just turned 50, by the way, so it's many banners. That being on the road a lot with other artists and other independent artists that I'd meet, or just background singers or singing in jam sessions, I'd meet singers, and there was a place called Ron Grant who passed away a couple of years ago, a legend and a mentor to many singers in New York. And I'd go to his open mic, and people would say, can you coach me? And I was like, I don't know if I can coach anybody. I had lessons before with, another great coach named Yolanda Wins and a man named William Riley, who had coached Celine Dion when she lost her voice in the 90s. My former boss, Susan Taylor, came to one of my shows in 1993 and gifted me some lessons with William Riley, who she used to be coached by, and, for public speaking. So at that moment, at this open mic, I met this young, she was a young Japanese singer who was living in New York at the time, and the Japanese community has always supported me, both living in New York and in Tokyo, has flown me there for shows, and she just said, can you coach me? And I just said, I said, I'm not sure, and I kept bumping her at the jam session, and she said, am I not good enough to be coached by you? And something about that question shifted. I was like, wow, she's taking this the wrong way. I thought that I wasn't good enough to coach her. But I booked my first lesson with her, and then I prayed on it, and I said, let me just let the Lord lead me. I wrote a song called Lead Me on my third album.
Is that part of your set list for today?
Maybe. We'll see. We're just kind of going with the flow. But that student came, and I've been vocal coaching ever since, and it's been another self-expression, another joy, I'm Jamaican, so we like to have 3 and 4 jobs. But it's been really a joy to pass on the legacy of music to the singers and even public speakers coach with me as well.
Wow. Well, I think we are ready for another one from your list. Thank you for sharing that story. And sorry for I love that snippet from your Google interview, and it's great how you describe that moment and how you go up to that guy's face.
Right.
It's exactly what happened to you. So I'm not sure why the audio didn't work, but I think, Gordon, if you're ready, I think we're ready for another song.
Okay, great. Let's go for it.
Alrighty.
So since I just mentioned Lead Me, I'll do a bit of that one, but I just saw a request came for this song from my third album, from my second album, Love Stories, and then I'll go into Lead Me, which was on the third album, Sincere. This one goes like this. Even when I can't see what's ahead of me, He is still blessing me. Even when the tears fall down on my knees, He is still blessing me. Even when I know what He wants, He knows what I need. So that He's still blessing me. A lot of people think saying that they wanted that song, He's still blessing me. But this is one of my mother's favorites. This song has really meant a lot to men over the years. A lot of times men are afraid to express their vulnerability. So I didn't write this song as a men's anthem, but it just happened to be that way. So shout out to all the fathers and the sons who love their mothers, the good men out there, the fathers as well. This goes out to you. It's Mother's Day, but we know that there's some really good caring men who love their mothers and love their wives and love their daughters. So this goes out to you too. May seem strong, but I'm falling apart. May seem open, but I've been guarding my heart. I may smile, but I can only inside. The world sees the laughter deep inside. I've been crying, and I think I want to leave me. Take me back.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers tuned in right now. I'm going to turn the comments on again.
Sure.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for a special Mother's Day concert with Gordon Chambers. Thank you for creating this space again. I think we had a great energy going on Friday.
Yeah.
And we went from 1 hour Q&A concert to 2 hours, and I think people wanted more. And so I think that energy reflects on why we're here today.
Okay. And we can go. Listen, I'm just.
We can do it, Erica. We can do a Jill Scott and Erica moment where they went 3.5 hours.
I got the music, y'all. I have written for 75 artists. I have 4 albums.
Tell me more. Who are some of these artists that you've written for in the past?
Well, okay. I get forgetful, but
no worries.
Brownstone, Anita Baker, Gladys Knight, Shaka Khan, Tamia, Brandy, Deborah Cox, Faith, Carl Thomas, the late Gerald Levert, who was a friend. I loved him and his family. They were beautiful people. I've worked with Trey Songz, Usher. Shout out to Bad Boy. I was part of the first Usher album that was helmed by Puffy. Shout out to Faith Evans. Shout out to Andre Harrell. Andre Harrell, y'all. He just passed away this weekend. We did the concert Friday night, and part of my wanting to, the Isley Brothers. People remind me, as y'all are there, please remind me. Whitney Houston, we just talked about her, of course. But Andre Harrell, was part of the inspiration why I wanted to come back on today and do this live, because, Andre Harrell was the godfather of New York, the New York scene. I remember just going into his office and playing songs for him. Anthony Hamilton was signed to him before he left that label and went to work with L.A. Reid, and I worked on the Motown unreleased Anthony Hamilton's album, which is a great album. But I also worked, closely with Diddy, who worked for Andre Harrell, and I used to leave my job at Essence magazine and used to just go over and hang out with Andre. And Andre had tried to hire me once for an A&R job that I didn't take because I was still at Essence, and I was committed to seeing that mission through. Somebody reminded me of Yolanda Adams. I've written several songs for Yolanda Adams, Someone Watching Over Me, which I just sang, but also the song that was called Everyday Family Reunion, that was also Grammy nominated. Sylvia Rohn had hired us to myself and Barry Eastman to co-write a song for a Tyler Perry film that was an entitled cut, and that was a Grammy nominated song with Carl Thomas, Gerald Levert, Carl Thomas, Gerald Levert, Yolanda Adams, and Shaka Khan. So I'm sure I'm forgetting people.
The list goes on. That's incredible.
Yeah. If you guys are watching and remind me, please remind me. I'm new to this IG format, and I get a little nervous.
No worries. We're here with you. We're here with you. I'm here with you. I think everyone wants to hear from you, share your stories, your experiences, and your experience right now. What is your creative process like right now, and has it changed because of COVID? Share a little bit of that experience for you.
COVID has been really real. I'm not afraid to talk about the reality of it, in my life. Listen, my family is alive and all well. Thank the Lord, but many friends of the family and many friends of mine have lost many family members. So I'm in the reality emotionally just as much as anybody else. My town, Teaneck, had lost a lot of people. Even with the hometowns that we grew up in, the small town, St. Mark's Episcopalian Church, lost some members. Oh, my friend from college reminded me, Shades of Brown University in the house. And somebody reminded me that, yes, SWV, that I wrote for them as well. Hey, Kim from Brazil. Wow. Thank you.
Wow.
COVID's been really real. I've been journaling a lot. I'm getting a book. I think I'm going to be writing a book soon. Yes, Queen Latifah, somebody reminded me that my first published cut on the first gold album, that was really the first big artist that I ever worked with and had on my name on a gold record, was Winky's Theme, which was a tune dedicated to her brother. So COVID, I've been journaling. I've been still doing vocal coaching, which we should announce that, people can DM me here. Just DM me if you're interested in vocal lessons. I do them right on Skype and right on FaceTime, right from here. I have some students. A lot of my students were on Friday, on the Friday show. I haven't seen any pop up yet, but no, Monique. I saw Monique, who's also from Teaneck. It's a student of mine. Hey, Monique. So I still do the lessons via FaceTime, and I've been journaling for the book, and And I think that I'm getting ready. I think my next project will either be, I'm going sort of back to the beginning of my roots. And when I grew up in Teaneck, I was in the band, of course, and I played piano. There was a lot of talent shows. And I was a kid who could always play like songs on the piano. I could usually play by ear. And lately, in the last couple of years, and even during COVID, I've been just, if a song hits me, I'll just like play it on the piano, just a snippet of it, just to uplift people. And last year I did this panel of Donny Hathaway at the Apollo. So the music that I grew up in, like this, has been talking to my spirit. And I think that I may do, my next project may be like a cover album where I sort of revisit songs that I love, that I just love, that I've always wanted to sing. Like I love this one. Gonna take a little time to think things over. In my life, there's been hard